There's also nothing that stops us from creating the groups. Okay, so if you come in here and you say barchart, and then you say yield, and it's variate. Okay, and now let's say we want to create separate panels for each side, and let us pass in our data set. And our data set is Bali, and let's run this. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to remember we have to create also the scales. Okay, so if you pass in here the list to specify that in the x-axis, what I want to do is I want to rotate this by 45 degrees. So now our labels are quite clear. Okay, so what I also want to show you is that we can also create the groups. Okay, so let's say for example we want to create these groups, and say we want to create the groups by year. Okay, so if you come in here and you say group and you add in the year and you run this, now we have been able to create groups within each panel which represents the years. Okay, so remember we have 1931 and 1932. However, this is not clear. That is because we need to also add an additional argument in order to specify the legend. Okay, so let's try here and come in here so that we come and say auto.key, and we set this to be true. If you run this, what you notice here is that it has placed this on top to specify that within each panel which set of bars belong to which year. So that is how you can add your legend. Okay, but what happens if you want to modify this legend? Say for example you want to place it on the right because the default is on the top. So in order to do that, you come in here in this argument, and then you pass in a list. Then you come in here, you pass in a list. Okay, so if you come in here, you pass in a list. Whatever that you will pass in this list will modify your legend. Okay, say for example we're going to talk about the position, right? So if we're going to specify the position, in this case we have to specify space, and then we say for example we want this to be on the right hand side. So if you run this, our legend is now on the right hand side. So whatever that you pass in this argument will modify the legend. So in this case we simply just modified the position. Okay, so that is how you can even go ahead and create a bar plot in each panel by groups, and also try to modify your legend.